go to RogerHollowayHomes.com.
Hey, today we're talking about retiring and relocating to the greater Charlotte area, pros and cons. Well, you're not going to hear a lot of cons out of me, but let's just talk about the pros and cons. Now, it's a rainy day in Charlotte, early April, and I've got 45 degrees. That's cold. Now, I don't know where you are. That might be pretty warm. But here we are, guys. It's a cold, dreary, rainy day, and the first pro is I got rain. If you had 45 degrees, well, you wouldn't have 45 degrees if you're retiring and relocating to the greater Charlotte area, let's say from New England or even the Midwest. And my point is that you might have an early April with an inch of precipitation today. You might have several inches of snow. Am I right or am I wrong? So I'm riding around being very grateful for the 55 plus neighborhood that my wife and I have moved in. The houses I'm passing right now, these are people that have been in their homes. My wife plays cards in their homes. We'll go to a meetup, greet up in their homes. It's pretty exciting. And so as I'm driving around today thinking about other people retiring and relocating to the greater Charlotte area, I'm driving by people who moved here from Pittsburgh, and well, in this one, surprising number of people moved from right here in the Charlotte area. So that's pretty interesting. So, you know, pros and cons. Well, the first pro, retiring and relocating to the greater Charlotte area, is you can catch up with those criminals, those kids of yours that stole your grandkids. You know, theft of grandkids is really a felony. I mean, right? And usually if the guy calls me from Des Moines or Poughkeepsie, it's like, yeah, I know the wife put you up to this because you got grandkids here, right? So the first pro of retiring and relocating to the greater Charlotte area is, hey, your kid, God bless them, they got a good job at Bank of America or Wells Fargo or Snyder Lance or Corning, MetLife, all the, you know, companies that are relocating here. And the con on that particular scenario is they stole your grandkids. My. But guess what? I get calls where people are saying, hey, I want to live close to the grandkids, but not too close. In fact, I still got a lot of gas in my tank. I want to live around a bunch of people my own age. And I'll tell you what, out of all the 55 plus in the greater Charlotte area, my wife and I were talking about this at coffee today, because think about it, my great job first thing in the morning is to get the coffee ready. There's a book in the Bible called Hebrews. So I love it. And I'm going by the sales center here. But you know, this may not be the right one for you. There are a number though of great 55 plus communities in the area. And this one is the one, like I said, we almost bought everywhere, but this is the one that we actually landed in. And it's pretty cool. So now, depending on your budget and proximity to the grandkids, or maybe you want to have, and this is where some of my pros, I'm going to bring up one of the pros of relocating to the Charlotte area after retiring, is the location. A lot of times when people are starting to think about the Carolinas, you know, the difference between North and South Carolina doesn't even come into their purview. And the reason for that is, hey, never been here, never done that. And what I'll tell you is, my first move south was to Hilton Head, South Carolina. That is the furthest most beach town in South Carolina. Right next door, Savannah, Georgia, another state. So that was a great move, by the way. Had a business opportunity, moved there, and ran it out in about 3 years. You know, 2008, not a great time to buy a business, but it was a great time to move south for this boy. I'm just telling you. And looking at part of the greater, bigger picture was that Patty, we've been married 13 years now. She lived here, and we met, and you know, bam, the rest is history. Now I'm back here by the dog park in this particular neighborhood. There's a pro for retiring and relocating. We had a guy that I ran into at the dog park the other day, just moved here from Idaho, right? So he moved here from Idaho. That's a beautiful state, I hear. So why did he move? Well, again, without disclosing anything, what do you think, right? So here's my point. The location is spectacular. Number one, we're close to the mountains. Asheville, 2.5 hours. Then you've got Boone. I mean, just the Blue Ridge Parkway, think about it. got a motorcycle, of course, but just to drive that in the fall at the change of weather, or just to go during the summer and hike, or the spring, the mountains, just the whole vibe is different. Asheville is a very funky town. And I remember we took the dogs and went there and stayed at the Aloft Hotel, which is right downtown Asheville, dog friendly, and that was just really funky and fun. So the location, close to the beach, close to the mountains. The beach, Myrtle Beach, Wilmington, they're about 3 hours away. Now, depending on which side of the greater Charlotte area you intend to live, one beach town might be closer than another. I know Hilton Head was about 4 hours, 4.5, and well worth it to me. And by the way, every beach, I'm just making turns here, driving around my neighborhood. I'm the mayor, I am. I'm not, because somebody said at a little meet and greet about a week later, they said, "Oh, you're the mayor, are you? Well, we're going to send all the problems to you." I said, I think my term is just about up. But bottom line, there's some lovely homes here. But there are really in all of 55 plus. And so location, close to the beach. What I always love to say is, here's a big pro, relocating to the greater Charlotte area. You could make a plan to go to every beach town up and down North Carolina and South Carolina and take a different vacation every year, and you'll probably die before you hit the last one, because there are so many choices. I mean, even up and down north of Myrtle Beach, North Myrtle Beach, south of Myrtle Beach, there's just a huge bunch of places where you could have you some big, fat, juicy fun. And the beaches have their own personalities. Like if you go to Wilmington, the first beach right there is Wrightsville Beach. You've heard of the Wrights brothers, right? It's North Carolina, guys. Do the math. So Wrightsville's got one personality. You drive down the road a little bit, and then Carolina Beach has another, and then Curry Beach has another personality, State Park. So what you want to do is just experiment the outer banks of North Carolina, but that's kind of up and over and down. So it's or up. And it's, that's 6 or 7 hours from the greater Charlotte area. Well worth it. But that's got its own vibe. And Hilton Head has its own vibe, family vibe, 12-mile beach. A lot of people have taken their kids there every year for vacation. Now those kids are grown, they're bringing the grandkids. And if you want to taste a little local culture there, go into YouTube, write this down. Here's the name of a song I want you to search on YouTube that I wrote with 2 other guys. We recorded it in 3 different states, and bam, I think it's pretty good. In fact, I had a 25-year-old kid musician, punk rock musician, pull it up the other day, yesterday, and he started bopping his head. I said, well, that's a good sign. So write this down: fed gators, a dead gator. Fed gators, a dead gator. Parentheses, the Ballad of Alligator Joe. End parentheses. Guy will come up with a green shirt holding 2 little baby alligators. I shot that. Check out the song. I'm on the drums. Love for you to do that. Pass it along. Thank you. I'll thank you later too. So here's what I'm saying. What are the pros of retiring and relocating to the greater Charlotte area? Quite a few in my estimation. So now in this neighborhood where I'm living, the amenity center's coming up right now, and there will be 12 pickleball courts here. A lot of the 55 plus have 1, some 2, some 4, some 6. I don't know of any that has 12. And we don't have them yet, but we will. So that's pretty cool. My wife's a pickler, but she likes playing indoors. The court is a little different. Why am I getting into all this detail? Well, it's a pro. I don't know what it's going to be like having 12 pickleball courts and living with a pickler. I might turn over into bed and she's gone. In the middle of the night, she might be out pickling. Who knows? But she went to the beach last week with a pickleball girlfriend, and they played pickleball during the day and played cards at night. I like that for her. So, pros. So you've got the location. Number 2, you've got the climate. Don't take my word for it. Just Google average year-round climate in Charlotte. Here's the big deal. We have 4 seasons. You need to note that. We have 4 seasons. Now in Hilton Head, it was even warmer, hotter, and more humid than here. It's 4 hours, a little bit more to the south and to the east, and it's on the coastline. Because I've got a playlist called Coastal Carolina Homes, and I go down once or twice a year and I'll shoot a video or two. And you want to call me, I can connect you to the people to show you Latitude, Margaritaville, Sun City, Hilton Head, which neither of those are in Hilton Head, but I digress. They're right there on the way to Hilton Head. But even the Del Webb's down at Myrtle Beach, and so I can help you because I've got partners down that way. We're all members of the National Association of Realtors. So location. So you could go and hit a different beach, and maybe you have a favorite beach already, but man, why not? Why not in your retirement and relocation? I know you got that money in the mattress. How cool would it be? This gets back to location now, because CLT Airport is just, an international airport. It's a nice one too, with rocking chairs. April 1st, they had a joke, April 1st joke, they were getting rid of the rocking chairs. That caused a furor because people like those rocking chairs. It kind of just speaks of the culture of CLT International Airport. So again, back to location. My wife and I, pre-COVID, and she, post-retirement for her, she won't let me retire. That's okay. I like what I do. Yes, dear. So we flew direct flight to Amsterdam. I like not having to change planes. Direct flight to Amsterdam. We hung out a few days. Then we took a train to Belgium, to Brussels, hung out a few days. Then we took a train to Paris, Gay Paris, hung out a few days. And then we took a direct flight back to Charlotte. A direct flight from CLT Airport, pretty good, pretty good. So there are a lot of things you can do from here. In fact, I'm thinking about a trip to Long Island. I've never been to Long Island. And there's a one-man play there that I want to go see. So Patty's not that interested.
RogerHollowayHomes.com